Well, howdy, y'all. I'm going to show you today how to make a scatter plot in a Ti84 calculator. So what we have here, we need some data first, and it's bivariate data, which means we have two variables. We need that for a scatter plot, because remember, a scatter plot, you need an x and a y. So you need to first identify which variable is going to be your x variable and which one's going to be your y. Generally, the first one is the x and the second one's y, but it's not always true, but for the most part, you can go with that. We're going to put the x values in a list. So L1, that means list number 1. We will put the y values in list number 2. So with your calculator, what I would do is I would first, so that we're all starting from a fresh location, I'm going to clear the RAM out. You don't have to do this if you have your own calculator. If you don't have any programs, you can always do this. If you hit the second button and then the memory, and then 712. But this will erase everything in your calculator and just reset it to its original state. So if you notice the keys are over here, you can pause the video and hit that if you need to. So now I know that the RAM is cleared. All right, I like to hit the clear button, get a nice clear home screen. So the first thing we need to do is put all of these numbers into our calculator. So we start doing that by hitting the stat button, and we want to edit our lists. So we hit enter there. And if you notice, our lists are blank. So in L1, I'm going to put all of our x values. So I'm going to start typing those out. Perfect. If you notice, I have counted. We have 14 data points here, 14 columns of XY values. If you notice, the very last row that I'm in was 14. Now I'm in 15. It's blank. So that's how you can double check to make sure you have all of your numbers, because students sometimes they will, mess up, lose a number here or there. All right, and L2, we're going to put all of the Y values. And notice again that I'm on the 14th row for my very last entry, and I kind of double check them to make sure they're all good. You can scroll up and see they're good to go. Okay, so I've put all those in. Let me clear out those keystrokes because there's so many numbers in there. And at this point, what I like to do is I like to quit and go back to the home screen. Okay, the home screen is where everything, kind of start from there. So I want to make a scatter plot. So I need to go up to where it says stat plot. So I hit the second button and then stat plot. And it takes me to the location where all of my plots are. I need to hit enter. What we're going to do is we're going to define this first plot here. So I'm just going to hit enter while it's on the 1. I need to hit enter again because notice it's highlighted to be off. So I need to turn it on. So I'll hit enter again. The type, this is a scatter plot. These are other types of plots. We're not dealing with those now, so we can just leave it there. If you put your data in a different list, here you need to define what the x variable and the y variables are. So they're both in there. We're good to go. Okay, mine is fancy. I can give it a color and all that. And I'm basically done. If I hit the graph button, I notice that I can't see anything. And that's because our y values are way up at 98 and 63. They're off my screen. When you reset the calculator, it goes from -10 to 10 and -10 to 10. So a quick way to fix your window is just to hit zoom and then 9, which is zoom stat. And that will fix your window so that all of those data points are on there in one screen. Now, if I hit the window button, I can notice what the x minimum and the x maximum are. That's important to know where you are on the piece of graph paper. The y minimum's at 20. It goes from about 20 to 110-ish, Sometimes these numbers are ugly. That's okay. All right. If I want to know what the actual data points are, I can hit the trace button, and it'll go and it'll tell me the x and y variables. And notice it's going right down my list here as I scroll over. So I guess that's basically it. There's our basic simple scatter plot. That is how you make a scatter plot in a Ti84. This is Mr. Kelly at Algebros. Remember, it's nice to be important. More important to be nice. See ya.